Hi there, welcome to Eduretics, where we make your high school life simple. I'm Aniket, and I know we're meeting after a really long time. The March SATs are coming, so let's do some reading and writing practice this time. This is a mixed practice worksheet. You can find the worksheet on the Eduretics website under the free resources section. Make sure you download it from there before watching this video so that you can practice alongside. You can do the questions alongside. Okay, so let's begin. The purpose of this video is to reinforce the strategies that have already been described in the strategy guide. If you have not downloaded the digital SAT reading and writing strategy guide, go straight ahead to the free resources section of the Eduretics website and get your hands now on it, because I've put in all kind of strategies that are useful for the reading and writing section in that strategy guide. It's really important. Okay, so we'll be reinforcing those strategies and solving these questions with them. Okay, so question 1. Before going ahead to read the whole question, like read the whole passage, what do we do first? We look at the main question instruction. Here's the main question instruction. What does it say? What is the main purpose of the text? Okay, main purpose of the text. That means the main idea, main purpose, that category of questions. Okay, so in this category of questions, there's no shortcut. You cannot rely on any single line, either the first line or the last line or any one line. You need to read the passage thoroughly and go for the option that describes the main ideas in the most wholesome way. Okay, they're not missing out anything. That option would be the best one. Okay, so let's read the passage. During the Great Migration of 1910-1970, millions of black people relocated from the rural south to urban areas. Movement from rural to urban in the United States. While some sought better employment opportunities, okay, others hoped to escape the racial oppression prevalent in the South. Okay. Communities such as Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood became vibrant hubs of culture and activism. Okay, so the movement happened to one, in order to get better employment opportunities, two, in order to escape the racial oppression that was happening in the South. Okay, these two are the main things. And then there's a description about Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood, which became a really popular and vibrant hub. So mostly a lot of people would have moved to this place, Chicago's Bronzeville. Let's look at the options. Okay, main purpose of the text, option A, to highlight the cultural significance of Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood during the Great Migration. This is just presenting the idea that is mentioned in the last line. Not wholesome, not comprehensive. Okay. Option B, to describe the employment challenges black people faced during the Great Migration. No description of employment challenges. The only thing that was mentioned was that they moved for better employment opportunities, but no challenges have explicitly been mentioned. So no, this is incorrect. Option C, to provide an overview of reasons why black people moved during the Great Migration. This does look right, because they are actually providing reasons. The first one being better employment opportunities, the second one being racial oppression. So first reason and second reason. Okay, so this looks correct. Let's see option D, to contrast the cultural and employment outcomes of the Great Migration. No such contrast has been mentioned. The only thing that has been mentioned were the reasons why they moved. Okay, but there hasn't been any explicit contrast between the cultural and employment outcomes. We don't know that. The only thing we know is, as an outcome of the Great Migration, was that Chicago's Bronzeville area, that became a really popular one among the people who moved. Okay, so option C is the correct one. Covers what is there in the passage in the most comprehensive and wholesome way. Okay, that would be our right answer, option C. I hope many of you got this correct. Okay, let's look at question 2. Okay, so question 2. First of all, look at the question instruction. Which conclusion can most reasonably be drawn from the study? Okay, this is the thing. Okay, the conclusion. A recent study found that honeybees in urban environments are exposed to fewer parasites than honeybees in rural environments. Okay, so we're talking about honeybees in urban environments, and we're talking about parasites, and then honeybees in rural environments. However, urban honeybees are more likely to suffer from malnutrition due to limited floral diversity in cities. Okay, so they're more likely to suffer from malnutrition, the urban ones, due to limited floral diversity in cities. So the first idea says that the honeybees, they are exposed to fewer parasites in the urban environments, which suggests that this would be better. But then this word, focus on this word, however. The moment you see this word, however, it should ring a bell that this is something critical, needs to be focused on. However, urban honeybees are more likely to suffer from malnutrition due to so and so reasons. So it's presenting a contrast. So which conclusion can most reasonably be drawn? Let's look at the options. Urban environments are generally healthier for honeybees than rural environments. Cannot generalize that because there's a contrast given. There are advantages, but then there are disadvantages as well. So wrong. B. Urban and rural environments both present distinct challenges to honeybee health. Looks correct? Yep. That's what has been mentioned in the passage, that there's one advantage of the urban environments, but then there's another advantage of the rural environments. Okay, let's look at the other options. Option C, malnutrition is the primary threat to honeybees in urban environments. Okay, it is a threat, yep, malnutrition. So this also looks correct, option C. Honeybees exposed to parasites in rural environments are less likely to experience malnutrition. No such direct correlation has been mentioned. Okay, there's no mention that in the rural environment, since they're exposed to parasites, more parasites, they're less likely to experience malnutrition. The malnutrition was due to the floral diversity, lack of floral diversity in the urban areas. But there's no correlation mentioned for the rural environments. So this is like inventing information. We need to refrain from this. Option D is wrong. Option C was somewhat correct, but B is covering it more wholesomely, the conclusion of the passage. So this question actually belongs to the category of data analysis without the charts or the graphs. Okay. So option B, urban and rural environments both present distinct challenges to honeybee health. This covers the whole idea more wholesomely. So it is correct. Okay. This is the correct one, option B. This is the right one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Question number 3. Again, first step, look at the question instruction. As used in the text, the word reliability most nearly means. Okay, so we need to draw the meaning of the word reliability from the context of the passage. Okay, let's first identify where does this word exist. Like its exact location. So, a recent survey of public transportation users found that reliability, this is where the word is located. Okay. Now, what's the strategy? To read around this word, the idea preceding and the idea succeeding this word. So I think mostly we could get the idea from the first line itself. A recent survey of public transportation users found that reliability is the most important factor influencing their satisfaction. Okay. Riders overwhelmingly prefer systems that operate on predictable schedules, even over those that provide luxurious amenities. So you see, in this specific type of question, there is no context provided in the first line. That's how they play us. Okay. So in the first line, a recent survey of public transportation users, they found that reliability is the most important factor. They're not telling about what is reliability or what's the context of it. Okay. So no information in the first line. We go to our second line of defense. Riders overwhelmingly prefer systems that operate on predictable schedules, even over those that provide luxurious amenities. So it's suggesting that they like something that's predictable in schedules over the luxurious amenities thing. So reliability is suggesting something that is more punctual, that is more on schedule than being luxurious. So let's see. Option A, trustworthiness. Okay. Option B, frequency. Predictable schedules, frequency makes a link. Okay. Trustworthiness, almost there. These are pretty close words in terms of the context. But let's see if there's any word which is further closer to the word reliability. Consistency. C is consistency. D is comfort. Okay. Comfort is one thing which they definitely don't want. Okay. They're valuing reliability on top of comfort. So option D goes away. Okay. Frequency, consistency, trustworthiness. Option A, trustworthiness. A generic term. Trustworthiness can be used in any context. Okay. not necessarily in terms of transport or transportation, too generic. So let's keep it in the standby. Option B, frequency. A good frequency, but then are they operating on that frequency? The frequency of transport might be good, but is it actually happening? The implementation is actually happening. So a layer added on top of frequency is consistency, which says frequency with accuracy and implementation. So option C goes to be the closest one to the correct answer. This is a hard difficulty question since they've given option A, B, and C are pretty close to each other. Okay, so that's how whenever the options are pretty close to each other, we need to spend more time and decide which one's the closest, which one presents the meaning in the most wholesome way. Okay, so consistency is the right answer. Frequency could have been the right answer had consistency not been here. Okay, because frequency does not guarantee execution. Okay, and trustworthiness is too generic, not relevant in this scenario. Okay, too generic. So wrong again. So option C is the correct one. Question number 4. Let's read the question instruction. Which statement best describes the impact of the telegraph? Impact of the telegraph. That's what we need to describe. Underline this. Remember this. Okay. Now read the passage. The invention of the telegraph in the 19th century revolutionized communication by allowing messages to travel long distances instantly. Okay. It marked a significant departure from the reliance on physical mail delivery, which could take days or weeks. Two statements are there. The first statement says that the invention of the telegraph, it revolutionized communication by allowing messages to travel long distances instantly. Okay. And then in the second one, it marked a significant departure from the reliance on physical mail delivery. So in the second line actually shows the impact. The first line tells what it could do. Okay. What capability the telegraph had. Second line shows how that capability actually translated into a real life impact. Okay. So it replaced physical mail delivery entirely in the 19th century. That's option A. So if you look at option A, it replaced physical mail delivery entirely in the 19th century. Very important to focus on this word entirely. This is what gives it away. Okay. Otherwise, this would have been a good candidate for being the correct answer. But entirely, nowhere has it been mentioned that it entirely replaced the physical mail delivery. So option A is wrong. Look for these extreme words. Okay. These extreme words would give it away, whether it's correct or not. Option B, it allowed for instantaneous communication across long distances. That is correct. Yep. That option is correct, but we still don't know if it's the most correct one. Okay. It was primarily used for personal messages rather than business purposes. Nowhere has it been mentioned. No, we don't want to invent information. It was invented to solve the limitations of written communication. Again, no, it was not invented to solve the limitations of written communication, but it was invented to solve the limitations of physical mail delivery. Okay. Long distance messaging, that thing. So this is also wrong. So from the process of elimination, we get that option B is the correct one. The most accurate one, the correct one. It allowed for instantaneous communication across long distances. Option B is correct. Okay. Question number 5. There are two texts given. Okay. Let's read the question instruction first. What conclusion about microplastics is best supported by both texts? Okay. So it's talking about the conclusion about microplastics that is supported by both texts, best supported by both texts. So we need to look at the similarities which are present in both the texts. Let's read one by one. Text 1. A 2021 study on plastic pollution revealed that microplastics are found in nearly all major rivers worldwide. These plastics often originate from urban runoff and industrial discharge. Okay. The first passage. The next one. A separate study conducted in 2022 concluded that microplastics have significant ecological effects such as disrupting fish feeding behaviors and altering aquatic food chains. Okay, so in the first one they mentioned that the microplastics are found in nearly all major rivers worldwide. Okay, major rivers. And in the second text, it's saying that they disrupt fish feeding behaviors and they alter aquatic food chains. This means, yeah, they both are relating to water bodies. The first text also says that it affects the rivers. Second one gives an extended description of the impact, that it disrupts the fish feeding behaviors and it alters the aquatic food chains. Okay, so let's read the conclusions now. Microplastics pose a greater threat to fish than to other aquatic organisms. None of the passages have mentioned this. So no, that's not correct. Let's go to the next one. Okay, option B. Next option. Microplastics are primarily a product of industrial discharge. Okay, that is presented by, yep, the first passage, definitely. Let's look at the second one. Is it presented by the second one? So they originate from industrial discharge. That's text 1. Second one, separate study conducted in 2022. They have not given the source of the microplastics. Text 2 has not given that. So not correct. Option B is not correct. Okay. Let's look at the next option. Option C. Microplastics are a widespread issue with significant ecological effects. Yep, that is correct. Option C is correct. Let's look at option Z and see if it's more correct or more accurate than option C. Microplastics accumulate only in rivers near urban areas. No. Text 1 has mentioned this, that from urban runoff, but again, it hasn't mentioned the word only. Okay. So this is again an extreme word, and text 2 has not said anything about the source. Okay. So option D is also wrong. So the most correct one, the most accurate one in the context of both the passages is option C, since text 1 also points towards this, that they have ecological effects, and text 2 mentions this explicitly. Okay. Let's go to the next question. So I've kept a lot of the tougher questions on this worksheet. So you'll find a lot of questions on around the main idea, main purpose, those things, or the conclusion, right conclusion drawn. But we also have some questions which can be solved really fast. Let's look at question C on that note. Question 6. So let's look at the question instruction. As used in the text, the word transparency most nearly means. Look for the word transparency. It's here. Okay. Read the complete idea. The company's innovative approach to marketing has revolutionized its relationship with consumers, fostering loyalty through personalization and transparency. Okay. So they're talking about the company's innovative approach to marketing that has revolutionized its relationship with consumers, fostering loyalty through personalization and transparency. It's fostering loyalty. We need to know what loyalty means here. So loyalty in this context suggests that there's a good relationship, there's a trustworthy relationship between the company and the consumers. There's a trust between them, and it has been achieved through personalization and transparency. Okay. So personalization, coming from the word personal, can mean that it's personalized according to the consumers. What the consumers want to hear or want to see, the company is providing that. That's called personalization. Transparency, transparent. The word transparent means through which, like something that is see-through. You can see everything through and through. Okay, there's nothing hidden. So in that context, the word transparency can mean clarity, nothing hidden. So transparency, clarity, trust, like that. So if we look at the options, clarity, visibility, simplicity, accountability. Okay. Accountability can somewhere be near transparency, but not a very direct relation, not a direct meaning of that. Okay. Simplicity, no. Visibility is a very literal meaning. Like transparency, we can say that this plastic is transparent, so it's visible through and through. This is not in the context. Option A, clarity. That is the closest one. You got the idea right at the start that it should be clarity. The word clarity is the correct one. Okay. Accountability, if clarity would not have been there and they would have used some other vague word which was not really close to transparency, in that case accountability could have been the right answer. So again, I'm reinforcing this. Mostly on the SATs, you will have granular questions where you can easily differentiate between the options. The options would be significantly different from each other. But the questions which I've put on the worksheet, they are the harder level questions. So you will have less differentiation between the options. So you need to make out which one's the most accurate one, the most fitting one. Okay. So this is best for the hard questions practice. Okay. Let's look at option 7, question 7. Yep. Okay, question 7. Let's look at the question instruction. What is the main purpose of this text? Let's read the text. The Wright brothers' first successful flight in 1903 paved the way for modern aviation, revolutionizing how humans perceive distance and travel. Main purpose. What they're talking about, the first successful flight, then it made way for modern aviation, revolutionizing what? How humans perceive distance and travel. Okay. So let's look at the options. We cannot directly tell from here if which one's the correct one. So let's look at the options. To emphasize the Wright brothers' role in modern aviation. Okay. Makes sense. We'll give it. Option A is correct so far. To highlight the technical challenges of early flight. No. Nothing mentioned about that. To compare the Wright brothers' innovations to other inventors' contributions. No. Nowhere have any other inventors been mentioned in the text. To explain how aviation transformed perceptions of travel. Okay. Here's the thing. They have mentioned how humans perceive distance and travel. Okay. But have they explained what change in perception has been there? What change in perception was seen? Have they explained that? No. So to explain how aviation transformed perceptions of travel? No. They haven't explained. So option A is the correct one, going by the process of elimination. So the other options are not accurate. That's why option A is the best bet. So option A is correct. Let's look at question number 8. As used in the text, the word hypothesis most nearly means. Where is it used? It's used here. Okay. The scientist's hypothesis was bold, proposing a novel explanation for a phenomenon that had baffled researchers for decades. Okay. The scientist's hypothesis was bold, so definitely he presented some idea that was bold. Okay, and proposing explanation for something. So something that was inexplicable so far, that had not been explained by researchers, and researchers, they had been baffled. So the researchers were really troubled by not being able to explain this phenomenon. And this scientist, specific scientist, his idea looks like close enough to the actual explanation for this phenomenon. Okay, so let's draw from the meaning of that. So hypothesis. Assumption? No. Assumption is not something that has a really positive connotation. Assumption anyone can take. The scientists, they base things, they develop theories or ideas. Okay. So then theory, that can be good. Yeah, that's a good candidate. Observation, just the observation is not enough. Because he's proposing a novel explanation, a proper explanation for the phenomenon. So just the observation, not enough. No. Looking at option D, conclusion. Conclusion can be correct, but conclusion in itself just says that he gave a result. But rather they're saying he proposed a novel explanation, a whole discussion, a whole idea. So conclusion is also wrong. The theory is the correct one for option A, question 8. Okay. So this is how we draw the meaning from the given words, that it had to be a whole idea, a whole explanation. Which of these words is closest to a complete idea or explanation? Theory. None of the others. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Question number 9. Again, we see two texts. What conclusion is best supported by both texts? So we're looking at similarities in ideas presented by both texts. Let's go for text 1. A recent report on renewable energy highlights the increasing use of wind and solar power in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so it highlights, the report is on renewable energy and highlights the increasing use of wind and solar power in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, text 2. Advancements in battery storage technology have made it possible to store energy generated from wind and solar power for later use, maximizing their efficiency. Okay, so text 1 is talking about highlighting the renewable energy and It highlights the increasing use of wind and solar power in reducing the greenhouse gas emissions. So wind and solar power are good sources of energy to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Okay. And the second one says how the wind and solar power can be stored and used for in the later time so that the efficiency is high. Okay. So let's check the options. Renewable energy sources alone are insufficient to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Okay. That is one assumption. Let's see. So alone are insufficient. They haven't made any claim of this kind. Rather, text 1 has said that they are having there's an increasing use of wind and solar power and reducing. And the second text does not mention any such thing, that they're insufficient or sufficient. So option A, not supported by the texts. B, battery storage technology plays a vital role in maximizing the benefits of renewable energy. Okay, that is correct. Pick something from text 2, the battery storage technology. It plays a vital role in maximizing the benefits of renewable energy. So it says the renewable energy has benefits, which is the idea from text 1. So this is the idea from text 1, this is from text 2. So by far the most wholesome option, the most accurate option is option B. So I would place my bet on option B right here at this point itself. Let's see option C and D just to be sure. Wind and solar power are the most effective renewable energy sources? No. Again, an extreme word. Most. Most is an extreme word, not mentioned anywhere. Unless mentioned explicitly, we won't consider this. Greenhouse gas emissions will continue to rise without improvements in energy storage. This idea has not been propagated in the texts, that the emissions will continue to rise without improvement in energy storage. Rather, they've presented the opposite thing, that if improvements in energy storage are there would be better use of renewable energy, and in turn the greenhouse gases will reduce, but not mentioning about their rise without improvements in energy storage. So this is like an extension, a forced extension of text 2. So no, we don't want anything forced. Option B is the correct one. Okay. This is the correct one. Okay. See, this is a really good worksheet to practice these tougher questions, which are more subjective in nature and need more thought from your end. Okay, so make sure to practice this. The last question that we're going to do is question number 10. Okay, let's look at that. Okay, so it says, the question instruction says, what is the purpose of this text? Let's read the text. The invention of the printing press in the 15th century revolutionized communication by enabling mass production of books. It democratized knowledge and increased literacy rates across Europe. Okay, first of all, they're talking about Europe, okay, and they're talking about the printing press, which got invented in the 15th century. Okay, it revolutionized communication. How? By enabling mass production of books. And what are its impacts? It democratized knowledge and increased the literacy rates. Okay, so let's look at the options now. What is the purpose of the text? To argue that the printing press was the most important invention of the 15th century? No. Again, extreme word, red flag, big red flag. Cross it out. No. Okay. B, to describe the effects of the printing press on literacy and knowledge. Yep. Correct to a large extent. Let's see if there's any other option that is better than this one. Option C, to explain how books were produced before the printing press. No, they haven't mentioned how books were produced before. They rather have mentioned that the printing press enabled mass production of books. Option D, to compare the printing press to other inventions of its time. Again, no. Highly unrelated options. So this is like a great question to be on the test. Okay, because all the options are pretty absurd. I would say option A is a big red flag because of that extreme word. Option C, no mention of anything of such kind in the passage. Option D, highly unrelated again. No other inventions are being talked about. So option B is the correct one. Okay, so process of elimination helps us greatly. So this is where I'm stopping now on this worksheet. There are 5 more questions. So your task is to solve all of these questions right from 1 through 15. If you want to attempt them separately and maybe think independently, that will be a really good exercise. So do that. If you find any discrepancies in what I have explained or in any solutions that are given in the worksheet, just let me know in the comments. Since English, like the reading and writing section, this is a very subjective section. So there can be different thought processes, opinions, narratives. So feel free to express yours, and I'll try to provide as plausible as an explanation as I can for your theory or mine. Okay, so keep practicing. Make sure you download the worksheet, get the strategy guide in your hands. That's really important. Okay, and we'll meet in the next part. Take care, like, share, subscribe, get your friends onto the channel and have them practice as well if they are taking the SAT. All the best for the March one.